ArsenalFanTV, thanks for coming along for the Q&A today. Now listen, it's a bit messy in here. We've just moved into a brand new office. It's been 4 years in the making, us getting an office, but we finally got a little base where we're going to be based out of, so we're kind of just putting things together at the moment. And I'll tell you what, it's going to make a big difference to what we do here on ArsenalFanTV, because we're going to have a couple of sets. Yeah, you'll see anyway, you know what I mean? So it should make a really, really good difference to ArsenalFanTV. But we're doing a Q&A today. It's the international break. And, you know, it's like during the international break, you know, we already start to miss Arsenal. Even though it's just, you know, a couple of days since our last game, I'm missing Arsenal already. And I just can't get into the international break, even though the game this week is England versus Scotland, and that's perceived as a massive game. But for me, I would have just preferred Arsenal be playing Man United this weekend instead of the following weekend. But it's an opportunity to ask some questions, see how the season's been getting on so far. So I thought we'd do that. Also, just before we get into that, just remind you, for everyone who's asking, AFTV Extra is starting back up with Mims. So that's going to be back in full effect for the Man United game. For everybody who was missing that, that's coming back. And also, we've got a brand new website, right? Get along there onto our website, ArsenalFanTV.com, as well as all of our videos. We've got excellent news stories on there every single day. And also, if you want to write for us, there's opportunity for you to write for us. All you've got to do is get onto the website and just fill out the form, and you can be writing for us. Right, let's get into the questions. I'm going to start off with this one coming from Alex. He says, what's your thoughts on Ozil and Sanchez not being included in the Ballon d'Or nominees? I think it's a bit ridiculous. Ozil had a great season last year. He's definitely been put into the Ballon d'Or nominees. And Sanchez as well. Sanchez won the Copa America last year, and he's not in the Ballon d'Or. I know the Ballon d'Or is sort of a European, is a more European type of competition. And I know there's another, I think it's a FIFA one, where Ozil and Sanchez have been included in that one. But for them not to be included in the Ballon d'Or one, I think it's scandalous. They should both have been in there. If anybody was listening, Talk Sport, you would have heard me having a massive argument with Jason Cundy, where I put him in his place, telling him that Ozil is a world-class player. And anybody who doubts that he's not, I don't know what planet they're on. Moving to Dennis, he says, do you think that we can realistically challenge for the title come April or May, or will we bottle it like what we do every year? I think this year we can. I really do think we've got a chance to challenge. And the reason why I say that is because I think now we've got a better squad. The squad depth is there for everybody to be seen. Even at the game against Spurs, I know we didn't win the game, but when you can bring players like Ramsey and Giroud off the bench, when you can be missing guys like Santi Cazorla and people like that, and you still can put out a very good team, the squad depth is there, definitely this season. I felt last season, for instance, if we were a striker down, that was it. It was over, you know. But this season, you know, Giroud's hardly played, and we've still, you know, had Sanchez up there, Lucas Perez when he's fit. You know, the squad depth for me at the moment is just so much better than it's been over the years. In defence, you know, you've got Gabriel, Rob Holding, Gibbs, now Jenkinson. You know, I really do feel that we have got a chance this season because of that squad depth. Ross says, Robbie, who's been your favourite player so far this season? Ooh, that's a really tough one. Wow, I think I'm going to have to go for Alexis. I think he's been excellent up front. He's gone into that role, and I think he's been brilliant in there. And, you know, he's been so integral to us in all the games we've played. Probably that's why we didn't beat Tottenham, because he didn't have his best of games. But Alexis, for me, has been excellent. Aaron McCarthy says, what's your most memorable interview? Oh, my gosh, I've had so many since I've been here on ArsenalFanTV. I think it's got to be the Chris Hudson one, that big rant that time after the Villa game. It really, you know, ArsenalFanTV was really building up strong, and then that interview sort of brought us to the attention of many more people. I love the interview with the crying man. That was another one that I never forget. I was stunned on the day. I was like, hey, you know what I mean? So we've just had so many great interviews. We've had some great stuff with Claude and Ty. You know, there's been so many. I can't even pick one out, to be honest. Robin asks, why do Arsenal always crumble in November? Well, I don't know what it is. it seems to be that always in November we have a tough run of games, including we normally at this time of year always got a bit of Champions League trouble over the past few seasons. So that puts us under a lot of pressure. We've normally had a load of injuries as well. I don't know, it's just been that way for the past few seasons, but I see a difference this year. We haven't crumbled yet, have we? You know, I mean, we've had 2 games now in November. We beat Ludogorets, we were 2-0 down, came back, showed a lot of character, beat them. And also, of course, we drew with Tottenham. Of course, we've got Man United coming up, PSG coming up, but so far we haven't crumbled. So let's see if we're going to see a difference this time around. Harry Gavin says, do you think this season will be the end of Wenger's tenure? Ooh, it's so hard to predict this one. I mean, you think to yourself, if he won the Premier League, would he just say to himself, right, I've done it now. I've done it again. Time to walk away. Or does he still feel that he's got a lot left in him? To be honest, I really can't call it. I got a feeling that he will stay. That's just my feeling. But you really can't. I think that's one where you got to be inside his head, and nobody can predict how he's feeling right now. Cryptic Czar Critic says, why has Arsenal failed to capitalise on going top of the league when other teams slip up? Could have given us a boost ahead of the Man United game. Yeah, it would have been nice to be top of the league, but you know what? For me, it's not about being top of the league now in November. It's about being top of the league come May. I want us to be top of the league sort of April time, that sort of time. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're top of the... I mean, we've had it at Arsenal many times over the seasons. We've been top of the league at this time of year. We've been top of the league in December. Makes no difference. At the end of the year, you're not top of the league. As long as we're in touching distance, which we are, we're only 2 points off the top. As long as we're still there in the fight all along the season, then I'm happy. We don't have to be top of the league. That's my opinion. You don't have to be top of the league. Now, it's good. It's the best place to be, but 2nd, 3rd, 4th, even 5th, just a couple of points behind, is still okay. Where do you think the squad needs improvement, if any, asks Ezza? Improvement in the squad, I think... I still say, you know, if a world-class striker was out there, I'd still go and buy one, even though, you know, we've been scoring a lot of goals this season. There's this rumour going around that Arsenal bid 80 million euros for Aubameyang in the summer, where, you know, an agent has come out and said that's a definite, which gives me a lot of heart because, you know, if that's true, it shows me that Arsenal is showing a lot of ambition and are willing to spend big to bring in big players. I'd still look on it and say, you know what, if that, you know, world-class striker, I think any world-class player that's out there that becomes available, that's going to improve your team, go and buy him. That's my opinion. Martha Weyer Sanchez says, we have a great squad, but what do you think or will be our weakness this season? I think we've got a great squad. It's always the old injury one. Getting injuries to key players. You can have a fantastic squad and players can come in and they can fill in and they can do well, but injuries is always an issue. Santi Cazorla at the moment is a case in point. For me, when he's in that midfield, he's absolute class. The way he keeps the ball, the way he passes the ball, the way he keeps us ticking over, the way he's always going forward. Other guys can come in and fill in for him and do a good job, solid job. But you miss something when key players are missing. So if Alexis Sanchez was out for any period of time, if Ozil was out for any period of time, we can cover them. But you can't cover them with the same player that's gone out. You can cover them with a player that's going to do a decent job. And that, for me, is the key. We've got to try for once and stay injury-free as much as possible this season. Nina says, which player do you feel has been the most consistent so far this season? Ooh, again, I'll probably have to go for Alexis. I think he's been very consistent this season. Probably the only game where I thought he weren't at his best was against Spurs, but I think Alexis has been very good. Nina also asked, do you believe that Ozil and Alexis will renew their contract with us and why? I do think now, well, you know what? There's something that I heard the other day. that I'm going to let you guys into, right? Now, this is just something I heard from a source. I don't know if I cannot confirm or whatever, but I heard that both of them have agreed to sign their contracts, but both of them want to know what's happening with Arsene Wenger. You know, so they've agreed it. They said, yeah, we'll sign. But before we sign, we want to know what's happening with Arsene Wenger. Now, does Arsene Wenger hold a key to Ozil and Sanchez signing on long term? I really don't know. Again, that's another question that throws up what's going to happen. Is Wenger going to leave? Is he going to stay? If he leaves, does that mean that those two say, well, you know what? No, I'm not signing yet until I see who you're bringing in, until I see what the succession plan is. Maybe there might be a better offer. It is a real grey area at the moment, and that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Gooner from Qatar says, do you reckon we should keep or sell Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? Oh, I think we should keep him. Let's keep Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. This is an important season for him. He was disappointing against Tottenham. We saw the best and worst of him. The way he can beat players, get into great positions, and then, bang, he overhits the cross. And that's the thing that frustrates people about him. He needs to get a level of consistency into his game. He needs to be better at decision making. The guy, I've said this before, I feel he can be as good as Riyad Mahrez was last season if he's consistent. The difference between someone like Mahrez and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is not skill levels or anything like that. They're both on par, but it's decision making. Mahrez makes the right decisions. He makes the right runs. He makes the right passes. Ox, sometimes he doesn't do that and ends up messing up good moves, but he's got all the ability in the world. So I'd love to see him stay and be a success. Joel Kerner says, do you think Lucas Perez will be a success? I think we've got to give this guy a chance. You know what I mean? He's only played a few games and everybody's already, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are already writing him off. Oh, I don't think he's a real deal. Suppose we've done that with Thierry Henry. Suppose we've done that with Koscielny. Remember how raw he was when he first came. Let's give the guy a chance. I think he's absolutely gutted that he's out injured. I heard that when he came back to the training ground after that injury, he was absolutely distraught because he knew he was going to be out for a long time. And the thing is, when you're playing for a big club like Arsenal, he's out now. Giroud's come back. It's even harder for him to get a place in the team. So let's see how he gets on. I think he's going to have time to bed in. And here's the last one. Gunner Talk 52 says, do you feel it's time to rest Iwobi? It looks like Wenger is burning him out. I wouldn't say he's burnt out. I'd say that the past couple of games he's been off form. I don't see a player that's burnt out. I see a young player that's still having an effect on the game, still making good runs. He's just not had his greatest of games, and it happens. Not going to be every game's going to be a 10 out of 10 for this guy for the rest of his career. He's going to have to go through times like this. I feel it could be a time to sort of take him out of the starting lineup and maybe have him on the bench and maybe start with Oxlade-Chamberlain. But listen, we're panicking a bit on Iwobi. I think he's been doing a great job and he still deserves time. And he's having an effect on the team. So dodgy last few games, but Iwobi's going to be all right. He's quality, absolute quality. So anyway, those are the questions. There's loads more, by the way. Thanks for everybody who was sending them in here on ArsenalFanTV. As I said at the start of the show, don't forget to check out our brand new website. New stories on there as well. And yeah, listen, we're getting the new office together. I've got my Pride signed shirt here that's going to go up somewhere. We're going to put together a nice ArsenalFanTV set. You're really going to enjoy some of the stuff that we've got coming up. And don't forget to subscribe to us here on ArsenalFanTV.